Hello, world. Here we are once more on a Monday evening to play Counterfeit Monkey. Episode 7, I believe. And you find us at the roundabout, late afternoon. We have one goal, which is to get to the bus station, which is where I think we're going to find Slango. Is that right? Is that what we're doing? What goals?
We need to find something in the dead drop.
That's it. Yes, check the dead drop at the public convenience at the bus station. So that's what we're doing. And as we said last time, although possibly not on stream, we're just going to get through this as quickly as possible. Without further ado, or any recapping of what happened last week, you can go and check last week's stream. Or I am going to ask you all to say hello, just so we can check audio levels and everything and see who's here.
Hi, Lee here.
Hey, Swanty's here. Hello.
Hi, it's Mike. I'm here.
Cool. Everyone's here. Woody's joining shortly, apparently. Obviously, he's actually at work in Canada. So so we're at the roundabout. We've just solved this puzzle of freeing these student protesters. So we can now go either south or east. The bus station is to the east, so I suggest we go east. We are now at Tall Street, jammed into a car. We're jammed into the car with our knees almost at our chin, looking out through the bulbous little windshield. The motor is growling like a house cat with pneumonia. Tall Street is very quiet. No celebrations have reached this far, and neither is there any business today, so it has an air of dull abandonment. At the east end of the street, bends go around an old park rarely visited. To the south is the important blue rotunda of the Bureau of Orthography. The street runs west towards the busy roundabout. The car is making an unpleasant raspy growl. Hey, Woody.
Hello.
Okay, all accounted for. Yeah, that's not good, is it? Unpleasant raspy growls. Do we just carry on, or should we get out of the car? What do people think?
Where's the bus stop?
Further east. It looks like it says Monument Green, and then bus station, and then public convenience on the map.
Do we need to be in the car?
I don't think we do. I think the locations just resolve whether we're in the car or not, to be honest. Not as if we get there any quicker.
Let's jump on the bus.
And unless we have to be in the car, but we can get out. And I mean, I don't know whether we have a limited number of moves in the car. Obviously, we need the car to get through the crowd, essentially, because we can't get past people on the pavement.
It does sound like the car is breaking down, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so which is probably what it's supposed to do at this point. But obviously it's not really a car, it's a chard. So you can always get out and, turn it back into a chard and put it in our pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good idea.
okay. Okay, so leave car. We switch the ignition off. We open the door of the car. We climb out of the car and then rub gel on car. We dip out a pea-sized quantity of gel and rub it gently onto the car. With an audible splort, the car becomes some chard. Get chard. We take the chard. Okay, so the Bureau of Orthography is to the south. The blue rotunda of the Bureau of Orthography. But we have no reason to go there at the moment, so let's carry on east. Abandoned park. In contrast with the parks in the more savoury parts of town, this is a bit of patchy grass where local dogs occasionally come out to do their business. A granite war memorial is fixed at the centre, which is why tourist maps optimistically call the place Monument Green, but the memorial is only moderately monumental and the grass hardly green at all. We step on a twig before we back away again.
Do we need a wig for anything?
Yeah, that would be my guess too. It is a place that might have been developed long ago, only Only it is known that there are remains of Roman settlement here, and there is a risk that digging out the foundations would turn up some of those ruins, exposing a large number of Latin language objects to the light of day. To prevent this catastrophe, the whole area has been placed off limits to development. We can go southeast and west to Tall Street from here. All right, let's try get twig. We take the twig, 9 or 10 inches long, very thin and somewhat flexible, but no leaves left on it. Oh, we're not wearing the monocle anymore. We are wearing the monocle. Okay, let's next twig then. The monocle pings happily. Okay, it is actually a twig. Okay, so southeast to the bus station. Or we can look at the statue. Let's look at the statue. Oh. Look at the monument. Oh, it's memorial. It's a war memorial. Aha. It's a curious thing. It stands taller than a person and yet seems almost embarrassed and self-effacing. The lettering is cut quite small and the names thereon are tightly spaced. Since 1829, there have been only 35 officially sanctioned surnames on the island, which means that for reasons of space, the names have been truncated to numbers, and the result is a list that looks almost like a table of biblical quotations. John 31, Mark 12, Paul 29. The reason for all this compactness is that the memorial is dedicated to the dead of all wars, deaths from the War of Succession and the civil dispute of standardization, losses from islanders volunteering in the French Foreign Legion, and the hefty cost of World Wars I and II are all crammed into the upper left corner, leaving room for a long and bloody future. On the war memorial is a poppy. The monocle pings happily as we cite the war memorial with the crosshairs. Well, that's interesting. How many sanctioned surnames are there? Does it say 20 something?
35?
31, wasn't there?
It was a
Should we
number.
take some bets?
I say 31.
Higher than 31. Anyone?
I thought it was 37.
Rosie?
No idea.
I'm not playing that game. It's 35. Does anyone have 35? I think. Oh, there you go. Well done. Well done, Lee. Okay. Well, I wonder what the 35 officially sanctioned surnames are then. Has anyone figured out what we need to do with the poppy? We get the poppy, not a real fresh poppy, but a construct of bright red fabric with a black heart. It is a poppy. Doesn't appear to be anything we can make with it specifically. Not with the tools we have at our disposal at the moment, anyway.
Just bear in mind whether we come across something that might need a heart on it or something, maybe.
Can we dig further down? No. If we look at heart, we can't see what you're talking about. I can't see what you're talking about. Yes, it really is just the centre of a poppy. Okay, southeast then. One of the things that we haven't been tracking is where all of these objects are. Of course, we're not actually mapping this place and all of the objects that we've found. We're just going by the map on the left of the screen. But yeah, there was 2 objects at that location. Anyway, we're at the bus station, a currently desolate depot from which buses run seasonally to Mayana, the island's other major town. The old station building is a low rectilinear edifice from the 1960s, all pebbled concrete and sheet glass, but it's shut, leaving accessible only a series of empty bus bays and a wall-mounted schedule. The public convenience to the east is the only thing open, while the area to the northwest is open parkland. A dove flutters from one surface to another, occasionally stopping to stare at us. A shed, rather ramshackle and unlikely, sits on the pavement where it ought to be in the way of incoming buses. Something makes you think of leaving your family for the last time. Okay.
Memory.
Memory.
Yeah. Remember leaving our family. Oh.
Wonder whether the shed is something that's been converted, and that's why it's the middle of the road.
Yeah, like occurred to me as well. It was something else. We'll have a look at it in a sec. Memories currently on your mind are making your lock, my youthful pranks, how we got here, how it started with Brock, your cruise skill, leaving your family for the last time, and past experience playing games. So remember leaving your family. Bus stop. Your suitcase was next to your leg. It was nearly 3 in the morning. There were 30 more minutes before the bus would take you to San Francisco. Your mother would have warned you not to be in a place like this alone, that alone, so late at night, but it didn't feel, then, like anything that could happen to you would be worse than your mother's behaviour and her anger. Then we're back in the present. This is a continuation of our backstory with our mother kind of trying to teach us something about grammar, and that was like an allegory for religion, and that we rejected it. I don't know if you remember that from episode 2 or roundabout.
Only remember it very vaguely.
Vaguely, yeah. We were thrown out, and presumably this is Andra, right? This isn't Alex.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, but I guess the bus station has brought these memories back. Let's have a look at the shed then. Sheds like this are typically cheap and very, very temporary housing for the homeless. The policy of the Bureau is that no one is allowed to beg, and punishments for begging and homelessness are often quite stiff, so there is nothing in the way of an established shelter on the island, and little recourse for those who might need it. There's a dismissive blatch from the monocle, and transposed over the shed is a faint greenish image of a shred. Okay. Well, let's enter the shed while it's a shed. It's locked, but I doubt there's anything inside, but possibly a few used blankets. Okay, well, I think we are supposed to convert it back to a shred.
Yeah, makes sense.
We dip out a pea-sized quantity of gel and rub it gently on the shed. With an audible splort, the shed becomes a shred. Just a torn rag end of cloth. It is white and blue and bears every evidence of having been part of an obligatory service uniform. An obligatory service hyphenated, so obligatory service is a thing. Uniform. I don't think we can make anything else out of it apart from a shed.
No, other than some red.
How though? We'd have to go via shred or red.
Yeah, you're right.
We could go to shed and then. Oh no, we can't do that either. Never mind.
But at least we can pick it up.
In case we do need a shed at some point. Okay, we're carrying a lot of stuff. So the only other thing that's here is a dove. The dove is pure white, probably a refugee from a group released at a wedding. People do occasionally get married on serial comedy. The monocle pings happily as we sight the dove.
Was there something? Do you remember when we were hiding in that wooden building?
Yeah.
From the
auditor.
Was there something about the fact that they were ignoring it because it was a wooden building, or just trying to think of what we could use a shed for?
Shed. I mean, if you took the floor out, we could like lift it up Flintstone style and just like shuffle forward with it and drop it back down again.
I guess it's going to still be locked, though, isn't it? If we turn it back into a shed.
Yeah, presumably it will be. I mean, God knows how that works. Like, if we're creating the shed, where's the key? It makes no sense. But maybe, I mean, we're very talented at putting aftertouch on our conversions. So
Yeah.
maybe it'll be a different shed for us.
Yeah, I had a different thought, but I've got a funny feeling that it's not going to work for a really obvious reason that I'm sure you'll realise, which was to convert the dove to a doe, which then might eat the plant that's
The kudzu.
Yeah.
Make
But we
the
can't
lice.
make animals.
No.
I mean, we can't make animals unless it, for some reason, decides that this one you can.
Well, yeah, unless we somehow remove that restriction, in which case we might as well turn the kudzu into kudus.
Yeah.
But also, like, we can't turn something inanimate into an animal, but it doesn't say anything about turning an animal into something inanimate. I mean, not that a doe is inanimate, but I don't think we've actually had opportunity to do it the other way around, have we?
I mean, we've also not tried turning something that's an animal into something else that's an animal. But
oh, see, it's already an animal, so that
it's not creating life.
Okay.
Maybe it's worth a quick try. Maybe.
Just shoot it, Chris.
I don't have the gun anymore. Actually, that's something that I was going to test. I was going to see what happens if you just keep the gun. I assumed that you had to put the gun down and walk away as if nothing had happened. But maybe that's not right.
Would it be inappropriate to hit it with a hammer?
That's a major failing of this game. We haven't even come across a hammer yet.
Yeah.
Anyway, remove V from dove. We reset the device to V. The dove flickers and has a brief image of a doe in its place. But a legal override kicks in. The V remover is a hardware cripple to prevent generating any living creature, even from another living creature. So that answers that question.
Quite happy to kill a living creature, but it won't make a living one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we could try moving the D in case ove happens to be a word. I mean, we are. I'm always aware that we are sort of in Scrabble territory here with very obscure 2- and 3-letter words. But I mean, we already have one, right? That Roman coin, which is an as, I think.
Yeah, I think Ove is a Swedish male name.
Yeah, right. Well, that presumably that would be legally overridden as well. Okay, well, let's go to the bogs then, shall we? Public convenience. There are just the 2 toilet stalls and a couple of sinks, but the place has been kept up reasonably well if one doesn't count the graffiti. Well, we should totally count the graffiti, shouldn't we? Be an important number. A soap dispenser hangs beside the mirror. About knee height in one of the stalls is a hole that runs right through the wall between the men's and women's restrooms. It is here that you and Brock and Slango usually leave things for one another. A faint smell of lavender lingers in the air.
So something in here is not what it would seem.
That's right. It was lavender, wasn't it? That was the smell that the paste makes.
Yeah. Origin something.
The origin paste. Yeah.
So that means that.
But even if we look at things, so if we look at the dispenser, it's the kind where a squeeze will dispense a new soap into the sink. The monocle pings happily.
But that doesn't mean anything because if it's been covered in the paste, the monocle will always ping happily.
That's right. Although, do you remember when we tried this before? The monocle just didn't do anything. It didn't make a sound at all.
Yeah, it made no sound.
Yeah.
Examine mirror. It's gleaming and shiny and very clean, and I don't want to look in it. The mirror is real enough, and the monocle pings approvingly. But laid over the reflection, we can see the 2 of us as we used to look. You a little shorter than our current body, me taller and male and needing a shave. I'm not sure whether it makes me feel better or worse to see us like that. How weird. Okay, the mirror is real enough and the monocle pings. Let's have a look at the hole. It's too small to get a good look through, really, and usually cluttered with junk. In the hole in the wall is some ash. The monocle pings happily as we sight the hole in the wall. Look at the ash. This be a stash? Stash to a sash to ash?
Cash.
Or cash? It's fine grey-white powder and a fair quantity of it, too much to have come from a cigarette or two. The monocle fails to make any sound or response at all, but no green image forms revealing the true nature of the ash. That is a big giveaway, isn't it? Let's face it. Okay, well, I'm gonna rub the paste on the ash then, I guess.
Okay.
I'll save it first.
Yeah, save it first. I say get it out of the hole first as well, in case.
Well, yeah, I wonder what it'll let us. I mean, it seems very forgiving. I mean, it just seems like a hard thing to get, ash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could try just get ash.
So go ahead and.
Yeah. Rub paste on ash. We smear. Oh, I'm an idiot. We smear some of the origin paste onto the ash. Nothing obvious happens, of course, but that's the whole point. Yeah, the paste makes it invisible. Or to the it's the gel we need to do, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, we just touch a coated fingertip of gel to the ash with an audible splort. The ash becomes some trash. Most of it's junk, sweet wrappers, tissues, bus tickets. But there's also, suggestively, an appointment card for Arbut Maps and Antiques. Score's gone up by 3 points and is now 41. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we have it already.
Examine it.
It's a card from Arbut Maps and Antiques. Fine goods by appointment only. The time scribbled at the bottom is 9 a.m. this morning. Looks like Brock's handwriting. There's also a tiny heart drawn in the corner. Monocle pings happily. All right, well, I guess we go there then. That's south of the roundabout in the part of the map we haven't been to yet.
Mm-hmm.
So this is basically forcing us to explore all corners of the map, which we still haven't completed. So, what do you think? Are we done here? Seems that way.
Seems like it. Chris, just as a reminder, I probably missed it. What's our current goal?
Oh, that's a good point.
Well, it was to come here, but has that now changed?
Yeah, goal. Here's what we think we need to do: trace Brock's movements at the antique shop. It has changed, and we can check our score. And 3 points for visiting the dead drop. That's what that was for. So, let's go. West. Keep an eye out for anything that's different that I haven't noticed. We're just going to go past the Bureau. Fall Street. West. Oh, we can go south here. Oh, no. South would take us to the Bureau. West. South. Long Street North. Long Street is lined on each side with a double row of tall anemic palm trees that bend towards one another many feet overhead. This corridor continues some considerable distance south. On the west side of the street is the several-storey front of the Fleur d'Or Hotel. We can go north to the roundabout, south and west from here. So the Fleur d'Or is the posh hotel that I think one of our memories had us in. And also there was a comment, I think, by Alex at the beginning, when we got to the hostel, saying that he would have expected us to have been in, you know, had a room in the Fleur door instead of the hostel. But we have no reason to go in there at the moment, just as we had no reason to go into the outdoor cafe or the Bureau of Orthography. I'm going to carry on south. Long Street South. Long Street is lined on each side with a double row of tall anemic palm trees. We're now in the southern part of this long corridor between the Canadian Embassy and Arbet Maps and Antiques. Someone has left a shopping bag at the roadside, maybe by accident when loading up a car, maybe because they mean to come back for it. In the shopping bag are a ball and a jigsaw. We can go north to Long Street North, south and west from here. Well, this wouldn't be an adventure game if randomly dropped items weren't incredibly important.
I think we should take that.
Mhm.
We get the shopping bag. The logo on the outside is from Landison's, a popular toy store on the island. It's probably closed today, so this would have been bought earlier, possibly even as a present for Serial Comma Day. Let's have a look at the bag. Okay, yeah. Things happily. Have a look at the ball. Made of blue and white rubber and decorated all over with a pattern of random letters in different sportive fonts. The monocle pings happily. Box puzzle displays an execution scene with several pro-British traitors from the 1820s being lined up before the depluralisation cannon. It was thought a considerable punishment to be forced to share a body and consciousness with others. The monocle pings happily as we sight the jigsaw with the crosses. Oh my God.
We've been depluralised.
We've been depluralised. That was the procedure then. So when all of the soldiers were depluralised by the depluralising cannon, it was like they were all in a single body. I mean, we've just got 2 people in a single body, but they must have had hundreds.
That's messed up, man. That's messed up.
That would be so
Yeah.
bad.
I mean, we all feel like that a little bit some mornings, but okay. Any thoughts on ball and jigsaw?
No, I was going to say, can we make a saw? But I guess we probably can't, can we?
No, not really. Unless there's such a thing as an igsaw. No. Yep. I don't know. At some point, I feel we're going to get the ability to create anagrams. Not that jigsaw leads to an anagram, but you know.
Or just a word splitter, or
Oh, yeah, yeah. I
that'd
mean, yeah.
Or like an alternative meaninger, because
Oh.
the jigsaw would work well if it was a different kind
That's
of jigsaw.
true. Yeah, like is it homonyms or something? You know, words that are spelt the same but have multiple meanings. Yeah, absolutely. There's a few things that we've come across that are a bit like that. I was thinking about one last week. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, okay. Let's hold that thought and go west. Arbet Maps and Antiques. There is a large collection of vintage and antique maps under glass. The island of Atlantis as a whole, street maps of here and of Mayana, navigation maps of the harbour, and then maps of more distant places as well. A stylish mannequin near the front sports a pair of Britishizing goggles. Oh my God. Note the spelling of Britishizing as well. Overseeing all this is a woman named Kate. Welcome to Arbet, says Kate. Feel free to browse and ask me any questions you may have about the merchandise. We could ask whether she's seen Brock. Oh, wow. I wonder if there's things that we need to Britishize and then transform. Like we need it because we need a U, for example, or we need an S instead of a Z.
Yeah.
Let's look at stuff first before we start talking to Kate. Mannequin. Head and torso only and abstractly rendered. The vaguely masculine shape is covered in coarse white linen. On the mannequin is a pair of British eyes and goggles. Monocle pings happily. X goggles. An experimental prototype that, from the perspective of the viewer only, adds U into words ending in OR and reverses ER into RE wherever possible. Subjects wearing the Britishizing goggles generally begin to develop implausible accents and to have better than usual success at wooing American tourists. Otherwise, the goggles are not much use. Like my monocle, they don't affect the actual form of an object in any way. The surplus stock were mostly given away as rewards to the supporters of public television, and the Bureau discouraged even recreational use in the 1980s as they began to make progress towards greater linguistic purity. The monocle pings happily.
I mean, can we take them?
I don't know.
We buy them?
Oh, yeah, we do have a wad of cash, don't we?
If you say get goggles, Kate is watching us. I think we'd best buy anything we need here rather than trying to filch it. Fair point. Let's look at Kate. Something about her clothes and bearing suggests that she's not simply here to run the cash register, but that she has some expertise. She has, however, spilt something on her shirt. Monocle pings happily. Look at the shirt. It looks very handsome, save for the brown stain on the front. Coffee mishap, presumably. Okay, should we ask whether she's seen Brock?
I think so.
Yeah, we'll just buy the monocle or the goggles.
Let's have a chat with her first and then buy it.
Okay.
Have you seen a man, maybe this morning, about this height, dark hair, very blue eyes, kind of cocky? There's a light of recognition. Yes, he was in. A friend of my boss, he visited the shop and sold us a map he happened to have with him. Then they left together. I believe there was some discussion of seeing a demonstration. I'm inclined to ask which map was sold, ask what sort of demonstration, or ask whether Brock seemed upset. You're reminded of how it started with Brock. Well, we've already remembered that, haven't we? There was like a one-night stand that Brock thought was more serious than we did, I think.
The boat.
Sorry?
Was that the one on the boat?
No, that was the one in the hotel room. I mean...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, the one in the boat was just the suggestion that they were a couple, wasn't it?
Yeah, but they were a couple. The one in the boat was obviously after they had, you know, firmed up their relationship. Oh, okay. No, this is a different one. Maybe. Oh, it's a skills one that was in the. It was the one night stand memory, maybe. But this is navigation area. Brock was sitting at the controls with you leaning over him. He pushed you away. Cut it out. I'm not available every time you decide to go slumming. It was deep blue summer twilight. He was driving the yacht with one hand on the steering wheel and the other loosely in his lap. You turned to go. Then we're back in the present. Okay, well. I guess he was still pissed off with you. After the one night stand. But that's how it started. So I'm not sure how to get back the conversation options. Oh, okay. Talk to Kate. We already have the attention of Kate. I just did that to get the options back. But she says, if your friend is missing, you could report him to the Bureau, you know. She says, I believe they keep close tabs on academic and research visitors. They may well know where he is. Thank you, you say. I don't think things are quite at that point. And they never will be, obviously. I'd like to ask which map was sold, ask what sort of demonstration, or ask whether Brock seemed upset. Okay, well, let's start with the first one. Ask which map was sold. You mentioned that the gentleman sold you a map. Which one was it? It's just here, Kate says, going over to the selection and pointing out a map purporting to depict Slangovia. An unusual piece. She glances sideways at us. Let's have a look at it.
I think we probably need that, don't we?
I think so. Slangovia. It's a detailed street map pretending to correspond to some remote South African town called Slangovia. Cryptic icons dot the surface. There's a legend in the lower right corner that appears to be a separate piece glued on. The monocle pings happily as we sight the map of Slangovia with the crosshairs. Okay. Okay. Look at separate piece? No. We can't. Okay.
Was it a legend or a key? Can we do?
Legend. Oh yeah, ex-legend. The legend tells of Iphis and Lanthe. Iphis, a girl raised in disguise as a boy, falls in love with her playmate Lanthe. She prays to the goddess Isis, who takes pity and transforms Iphis into a man, able to marry Lanthe after all. It bears no obvious relation to the map of Slangovia. Okay. Well, we don't have the map. Oops. I'm not sure how to get the list of things that we can talk about back. Topics, that's what it was. Topics. Okay. I'd like to ask what sort of demonstration, ask whether Brock seemed upset, ask what types of antiques they sell here, or ask what the map legend means. Ask what map legend. The legend on this map is unusual, we say, pointing out the business of Iphis and Lanthe in the corner. Kate frowns at it. Perhaps it's a story with some kind of local significance, she suggests after a moment. Okay, ask what sort of demonstration. You mentioned that your boss and the other gentleman went to a demonstration. What kind of demonstration was it? He smiles and shrugs. Mr. Arbut used to work for the Bureau before he retired to sell antiques. He still has lots of connections. It could be anything.
What's our goal? Unless it still says that we have to trace his movements.
I'm probably have a look in a sec.
Mhm.
Oh. Ask whether Brock seemed upset. What have I done wrong?
Do you have to put a capital B on Brock?
Ask Kate, did Brock seem upset?
Yeah, or ask, did Brock, maybe. Did Brock seem upset? Weird.
Let's ask if Brock seemed upset.
Okay. That's odd. Let's ask another thing.
Ask whether we seem upset.
Yeah. Okay, ask why Arbut now sells antiques. So your boss used to work for the Bureau, but now he sells maps and other items. Some of them are very difficult to source in Atlantis. But Mr. Arbut has connections, we prompt. She doesn't disagree, but she doesn't elaborate either. Okay, ask what types of antiques they sell. What sorts of antiques do you sell here? What you see around you on the floor is fairly representative, Kate replies. Maps are a speciality, but we also carry older models of linguistic tools, as well as unusual or vintage Atlantean artifacts.
Are there linguistic tools, eh?
Oh, yeah. I think we can ask about linguistic tools. No. It's still Trace Brock's movement at the antique shop. We can't check if he was upset or not. Ask.
Can we just ask about Brock?
I think it's a bug. Buy map. I'll take the Slangovia map, we say. It's not every day you see something like this. Very good, she says. Too bad he didn't think to offer it to you directly. But just as well for us, I suppose. We take this to mean that Arbut is getting a big commission on the sale. Kate removes the map from its case and packs it carefully for us. Get map.
Buy the goggles as well.
I suppose the linguistic tools is a reference to the goggles.
Yeah.
There's nothing else here. I'm interested in these Britishizing goggles, we say. An excellent choice, Kate assures us. They're the real thing, vintage made, not the plastic knockoffs that were all the rage in the 80s. Leather straps, brass fittings, top-grade lenses. A number of bills later, and we're the proud owner of the goggles. Kate removes the goggles from the mannequin and fits them to our face. So, we have a backpack, a D remover, a flash drive, a monocle, some origin paste, some plans, a roll, and a tub of restoration gel. We're also carrying some ale, an as, some asparagus, a ball, a pair of Britishizing goggles, some chard, some gas, a guidebook to Anglophone Atlantis, a heel, a jigsaw, a jotter, a letter, a lime, a map of Slangovia, a pear, a poppy, a shopping bag, a shred, a stuffed octopus, a twig, and a yam. Of that collection, the flash drive, the origin paste, and the tub of restoration gel are packed away in the backpack, which is gaping wide open so everyone can see what's inside. The ball and the jigsaw are in the shopping bag. We are wearing the Britishizing goggles.
Something that I'd not noticed before, you guys probably had, is that when you do that inventory, the first group of items, it says are essential items. And then it says you're also carrying...
Well, with the following essentials, yeah.
So that I wonder whether those are like...
That's true.
Once you've got them, you can't drop them anymore. They're like, they're special, you know, they're...
Yes. I mean, everything's important, but I guess those are crucial or something. You know, you can't...
Plot items, they'd be called.
Yeah, plot items. What was the roll?
That's your money.
Oh, yeah.
Did you notice that Britishizing was spelled with an S?
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, is it now? Oh, yes,
Yeah.
it is. Because we're wearing them. Good, good. Okay. I mean, I don't know what to do.
So we still haven't achieved our goal of finding out his movements in the shop.
Oh, find a way to understand the map is our goal now. So we have. I guess we don't need to know whether he was upset or not. Okay. Cryptic icons dot the surface. There's a legend in the lower corner. that appears to be a separate piece glued on.
Can we look at the icons?
Yeah, examine icons. The other thing was that she's got a coffee stain on her shirt.
Yeah.
Can we be helpful and convert the coffee stain into something that's no longer going to be attached to her shirt and therefore cleans her shirt for her? Can we convert a stain into a stan or something? It was just the way that it was described. It was like, why are you telling us this? And it's a bit. But
I mean, we can't look at. I've just tried examine stain.
Yeah.
And it says I can't see what you're talking about. If we can look at the shirt, and it says there's a brown stain on the front, coffee mishap, presumably. I mean, there's no motivation here to do that. We don't need her for anything else anyway. We've got the things that we're here to do.
Yeah.
I think we need to have a good look at this map. And the fact that this legend is glued on means we can probably try and remove it. Oh, we're not wearing the legend. Separate we can't use. Icons is no good. Let's look at the glue. We look at the legend, we get the story again. We lift it. Can't lift it.
Gel on it?
I mean, the monocle pings happily, so it is what it appears to be.
Yeah. Do we have any male characters that we expect to be a girl?
Apart from ourselves.
Well, we're kind of the other way around, aren't we?
Yeah,
We're a
we're
girl.
both. Yeah.
Are we supposed to look at the map through the goggles?
The
Would that show
Britishizing
anything
goggles.
different? Yeah. It makes sense why we got them then.
I thought we were wearing the goggles.
I changed them for the monocle to see if everything was what it says it was. I mean, I can't see any difference looking at it through the goggles. Find a way to understand the map.
So we've got to understand what the cryptic icons, why are they being cryptic? What are they telling us?
Except we can't look at the icons directly. It says I don't know what you mean.
We could take it to someone that might know.
Who would be a good map reader?
Can we look any of these things up? Like in the guidebook or
Could we go to the university and ask someone?
yeah.
Bookshop?
We could take it to the bookshop.
Or the Bureau of.
I don't think we want to go there. I get the impression
I
we don't have
agree.
anything to do with them.
Yeah.
I can't see any way. I mean, it's almost as if we need to transform the legend into something else, but I can't see anything that would work.
I mean, understand isn't a verb it knows, is it? You can't just go understand.
Understand the map? No, that would be daft. if it was that easy. I'm afraid I've told you what little I know about that piece. She said something about maybe it's a local thing, didn't she? Well, we can also imagine that maybe Brock put the legend on, like glued it on, added it as a clue. Like the map isn't the important bit, the legend is the important bit. Oh, do you know what? This also could be what you were talking about, Rosie, in terms of
What?
well, what we need is something that changes the meaning of the word, because this is a legend that is telling us about a legend, like a Greek legend or Egyptian Isis. But we want a legend which gives us the key to the map. So there's a meaning discrepancy here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we rub gel on legend, what do we get? Nothing happens, no. And, I mean, we're wearing the goggles, right? We're wearing the Britishizing goggles. That doesn't make any difference to the legend.
I think we need to go for a walk around.
I said I put a post out this afternoon saying that we were going to carry on playing Counterfeit Monkey, and I said, are we going to get stuck? Are we finally going to get stuck on something?
Jinx.
I was kind of hoping we would, and sure enough, we do appear to be pretty stuck.
Maybe we should go to the hotel. Have we tried going in there?
No. I mean, there are these places we haven't been yet. We could go, south is Palm Square, and then what looks like an apartment, a cafe, and then the university, and Samuel Johnson Hall. There's also a Canadian embassy. Quite sure where that is.
That's where I am.
Yeah. The embassy is the largest foreign embassy here. Canadians do a lot of business with Atlantis, but the Quebecois require special permission to enter. So there's a call for substantial clerical work. The building is a solid 1960s block in concrete with slit-shaped windows. Okay, seems like decoration. Okay, let's go to the hotel. Fleur d'Or Hobby. The Fleur d'Or is a high-end hotel that serves businessmen and luxury tourists interested in the linguistic mechanisms of the island. As a result, it has all kinds of paid exemptions, including an exemption allowing it to operate under a foreign name. The spotlights in the ceiling light the floor in distinctive pools of bureau blue, and a sheet of frosted glass etched with random letters separates the lobby from the drinks club to the west. There's no one at the glossy piano in the corner, though a piece has been left on the piano bench.
This is the kind of place we might find a new machine. If it's full of rich tourists that like linguistic mechanisms or whatever.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the piece.
I mean, does it mean
Could the frosted glass, if we put the map against it, could that show us something?
I mean, that would be nuts, but you can try it.
Well, in a text game, yes. Like in a visual sort of setting, then
Well, I'd like to hope that by the time that this game was written, like completely arbitrary things like that wouldn't be solutions anymore. But well, it's definitely interesting that there's the letters. Okay, let's look at the piece. It looks like a setting of the grammatical number of our enemy is singular, a popular music hall piece of the 1890s that still gets trotted out now and then. There are rousing choruses where the audience can join in to represent the enemy sailors just prior to their encounter with a depluralizing cannon.
Okay, so here's a thing. I wonder whether the jigsaw is missing a piece, and whether this piece could be turned into a jigsaw piece to complete the jigsaw to turn it into a whole jigsaw. If you could, and then you could use the jigsaw to chop the vine stuff, maybe.
But we would need a homonym machine.
Yeah. We're now assuming that there is such a thing, seeing as we've had.
very smart. I have to go, by the way.
Oh, okay.
See you next
Cheers.
week.
Bye.
See you next
Cheers,
week.
Ree.
Bye.
Have a good day.
Right, we've got 4 minutes left.
This is where we put the map up against the frosted glass.
I'd be surprised. But yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm going to get the piece anyway. We take the piece. X glass.
But it's like, why is that called a piece?
Yeah. A piece of music, a jigsaw piece.
I mean, when I first saw a piece, I thought it was a gun. That's,
Holy shit, mate.
Well,
That's the only thing you can change it into is a pick. Don't know why, but you could.
Yeah, PIC. What does that mean? Anything? I don't know.
Like,
X. Sorry?
or a picture, I guess.
Yeah, pick. You try. Examine glass. The glass is a good 3/4 of an inch thick and looks very sturdy. The etched letters glow or fade out again depending on the changing light conditions in the lobby. Annotation in the corner indicates that this is commissioned artwork by Anne Landis Rosehip entitled The Primeval Sea. Okay.
Posh this place, innit?
Very posh. I mean... Okay, we can't remove G from glass to make glass, probably for a couple of reasons, but it's too tightly bound to its modifiers, so it is sheet of frosted glass. Oh, so okay, so we could look at sheet, but we can't change it again. I'm going to wear the monocle because I find it more useful to know whether things are what they actually appear to be. Okay, piece pings happily. Remove E from piece. Piece turns into a pic. It's a snapshot of a happy family visiting Typo Land Fun Fair, the closest thing Anglophone Atlantis has to an amusement park.
Isn't that helpful, does it?
No, I suspect that's a red herring, but we have a pic. Play piano. We take our seat at the piano. We pick out some vaguely remembered commercial jingles from our childhood. We can go further west. Fleur d'Or Drinks Club. The back wall is dramatically decorated with bottled liqueurs of all sorts, from gin to cachaça.
It must be a star, isn't it? Like Barcelona.
Well, only if you're Catalan.
Which
Anyway.
clearly I am.
Cachacha. There's a giant bottle of Campari, taller than your average 3-year-old, with a red ribbon around its neck. What makes this place technically a drinks club rather than a bar is its license to serve letter-manufactured food and drink. A toolkit on the bar contains some screwdrivers, some gimlets, some rusty nails, ready to be transformed into their respective cocktails. The bartender is in the middle of showing her homonym paddle to a patron holding a gin and tonic. The other patrons are scattered around the room at small tables, drinking or talking amongst themselves. She acknowledges us with a nod as we stroll up to the bar and get close enough to hear their conversation. It was originally produced as a toy, but it's actually a bit dangerous, the bartender is saying.
Hello.
Dangerous? How so? Asks the patron. Various ways, she says. Suppose I hit a small object that has a big homonym, like, say, a plane. You know, the carpentry kind. Suddenly, I've got an airplane-style plane on top of me.
Right then.
So it's 8 o'clock.
No, grab it and use it on the ledger.
No. Save.
Such a meanie.
There we go. Let's end it on a downhill, shall we?
Nice.
Mhm.
All right, everybody. That was quite enjoyable.
Everyone here next week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next week's good.
Cool.
All right. Arrivederci, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.